Imagine waking up to the sound of screeching tires carving fresh trenches through the Kentucky bluegrass you spent $3,000 and 6 weekends perfecting, only to watch the neighborhood's self-appointed queen begun her white BMW straight across your corner lot like it was her private on-ramp. That's exactly how my retirement paradise in Willow Creek Estates turned into a 3-month war zone. Courtesy of Victoria Langford, HO president, charity auction darling, and the woman who genuinely believed rules are for peasants. I'm Ethan Brooks, 54, retired structural engineer who spent 30 years designing foundations that hold up skyscrapers in hurricane zones. My wife Lisa had just beaten round 2 of breast cancer. Her doctors said fresh air and a garden would help her heal. So I bought the corner lot with the big oak, laid premium sod, wired smart irrigation myself, and planted those little solar path lights she loved. Every morning we'd sit on the porch with coffee, watching the sprinklers hiss and the grass turn into a green carpet that made the whole cul-de-sac jealous. Until Victoria decided the 30-second detour around the stop sign was beneath her. Day 1 I thought it was a fluke. Deep ruts, shredded irrigation heads, the stink of burning rubber mixing with my coffee. Day 2, same white BMW, same 7:47 a.m. Missile run. By day 3 I had the Ring camera rolling in 4K. Crystal clear footage of Victoria Langford, HOA badge gleaming on her rearview mirror, blasting across my property while chatting on Bluetooth like she was late for brunch with the mayor. I tried the neighborly approach. Walked over in my work boots, coffee still in hand. Morning, Mrs. Langford. Ethan Brooks. Noticed you've been cutting the corner across my lawn. The survey stakes are right there if you want to double-check. She didn't even kill the engine. Just lowered her designer sunglasses and gave me the smile that probably closed 1,000 HOA fines. Oh, Ethan. Sweetie. The covenants clearly state that corner lots must maintain open visual flow for safety. I'm actually doing the neighborhood a favor. Maybe don't plant so close to the curb if you can't handle a little traffic. The way she said sweetie made my engineering brain start calculating load-bearing capacity for human skulls. I smiled back. Ma'am, those stakes say otherwise. And the covenants also say no vehicles on private property without permission. Her laugh was pure crystal. Permission? Honey, my husband's company built half this subdivision. I'm president of the HOA board. You're the new guy who already got written up for having solar lights that clash with the aesthetic. I'd be very, very careful about starting a war you can't win. She drove off, tires spitting my sod in my face. That night Lisa's hands were shaking while she watered her herb garden. Ethan, maybe we just let it go. I don't want trouble. But I'd spent my career making sure things stayed exactly where they were supposed to. And nobody, especially not some Botox tyrant in Lululemon, got to steal my wife's healing space. So I did what any self-respecting engineer does when faced with a structural problem. I started gathering data. Weekend 1, I installed the courtesy lighting system. 8 motion-activated floodlights, low voltage, code compliant, no permit needed. Positioned every 6 feet along the exact property line the stakes showed. Monday morning at 7:47 a.m. Sharp, Victoria's BMW hit the first sensor. 8,000 lumens turned her windshield into a supernova. The screech of ABS brakes was music. She sat there blinded for 10 full seconds, then floored it anyway, horn blaring like she was announcing the apocalypse. By Wednesday, the entire cul-de-sac had curtains twitching. Thursday night my cameras caught her in head-to-toe black athleisure, kicking over my lights like a suburban ninja having a tantrum. Designer yoga pants, $300 sneakers, pure rage. The backup battery system I'd wired kept the secondary cameras rolling. Every kick, every muttered stupid blue-collar loser. Every middle finger to the little red recording light, immortalized in glorious night vision. Friday brought the official HOA violation letter in my mailbox, scented with her vanilla perfume. Excessive illumination disturbing neighborhood tranquility. $250 fine. 10 days to remove or face escalating penalties. Signed Victoria Langford, President. I filed the vandalism claim with insurance and took the footage straight to Tony's Hardware, the unofficial neighborhood resistance HQ. Tony, ex-Marine 62, looked at the video and whistled. That which has been terrorizing folks for 4 years. Mrs. Delgado lost her bird feeder because attracts vermin. The Parkers got fined for their American flag being too large. Half the block scared of her. Mrs. Delgado, 71 and sharp as rebar, slid me a spiral notebook thick as a phone book. I've been logging every crazy thing she does. But nobody fights back. Until you. The insurance adjuster arrived Monday. He wasn't just measuring broken lights, he was measuring everything. When his laser hit my corner markers, he paused. Mr. Brooks, these stakes don't match the county records I pulled. You might want a professional survey. That sentence changed everything. I called my old buddy Pete, retired surveyor. 2 days later, his crew painted bright orange lines across my lawn that told a completely different story than Victoria's open visual flow. I didn't own 12 feet less than I thought. I owned 18 feet more. The entire shortcut Victoria had been using? Mine. And her $25,000 decorative retaining wall with the waterfall feature? 4.5 feet onto my property, built without my permission the same month her husband corrected the subdivision surveys. I stood there holding the official plat, the metallic taste of pure engineering satisfaction in my mouth. Victoria Langford hadn't just been trespassing. She and her developer husband had been running a quiet little land theft operation, moving stakes, filing clerical corrections, and bullying anyone who noticed. 6 neighbors. Half an acre total. All while she fined people for grass being 2.6 inches instead of 2.5. That evening she click-clacked across my driveway in heels that cost more than my first car. What the hell are these orange lines? You can't just redraw property lines because you're bitter about normal neighborhood traffic. I held up the survey. Actually, Mrs. Langford, according to a licensed surveyor, you've been committing criminal trespass every single morning for 3 months. And that waterfall wall of yours is now officially on my land. Might want to tell Derek his clerical corrections are about to get very expensive. Her face went through every color in the HOA violation palette. Then she leaned in, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. You pathetic little engineer. You think you can waltz in here and challenge people who actually built this community? Derek and I decide who belongs and who gets crushed. Keep pushing and you'll find out exactly how difficult life can get for troublemakers. She stormed off, leaving the scent of Chanel No. 5 in pure panic. I made 2 calls. One to my insurance lawyer. One to a concrete contractor I'd worked with on commercial jobs. Because some problems don't need lawyers. They need foundations that go 5 feet deep and never move. The next morning a white city truck rolled up like a tank. Code Enforcement Officer Dave Morrison stepped out clutching a clipboard and the dead-eyed stare of a man who'd already chosen his side. Anonymous complaint about unpermitted electrical installations creating safety hazards. I didn't even need 3 guesses who the anonymous source was. Dave pointed at my perfectly legal low-voltage lights like they were IEDs. Motion sensors, underground wiring. Looks commercial grade for a residential zone. $1,200 fine. 10 days to remove. I smiled the smile of a man who'd passed 1,000 inspections. Officer, those are under 30 volts. No permit required per Municipal Code 14.3.2. I'm a licensed structural engineer. Want to see the stamped drawings? He didn't. He just started measuring with the enthusiasm of a guy who'd already cashed a check from Derek Langford's golf club. When I casually asked if he golfed at Willow Creek Country Club, the one Derek basically owned, his neck flushed the exact color of a stop work order. That afternoon I filed a Freedom of Information Act request. The stack of complaints that came back was thicker than Victoria's highlight bills. 47 violations in 18 months, all signed by her, targeting 19 different families. Bird feeders, flags, paint colors, even one for suspicious holiday lights. And every single time Dave Morrison had been the enforcement officer. But the real bombshell was the timeline. 3 months ago, right when Victoria started using my lawn as her racetrack, Derek's company got $1 million pool addition approved in record time with 0 inspections. Same week the corrected surveys magically appeared. I showed everything to Tom, the city's head building inspector and an old friend. He took one look at Dave's citation and laughed so hard he almost dropped his coffee. This is either the dumbest code violation I've ever seen or deliberate harassment. I'm writing an official rebuttal and starting an internal investigation. While Tom was still in my yard, his radio crackled. Major structural failure at Langford construction site on Maple. Faulty foundation, possible criminal negligence. The irony tasted better than Lisa's Victory Garden tomatoes. That weekend I finalized the Bollard specs with the same precision I once used for high-rise footings. One decorative concrete bollard. 42 inches tall, 8-inch diameter, reinforced core granite cap. Foundation 5 feet deep with 4 rebar cage. Placed exactly 8 inches inside my newly confirmed property line. Right where Victoria's passenger wheel tracked every single morning at 7:47 a.m. Legally, pure landscaping art. Protected by every aesthetic regulation the HOA loved to weaponize. Practically, a 4,000 psi immovable object waiting for a 25 miles per hour entitled object. I had the crew pour it Friday. Miguel, the concrete guy, shook his head as the quickset mix flowed. This thing's going to be here when they tear the subdivision down for condos, man. I added a small bronze plaque. Willow Creek Community Memorial Garden Est. 2024. To the casual eye, charming. To Victoria's BMW, divine intervention. Mrs. Delgado organized what she jokingly called the Bollard Appreciation Committee. Tony supplied coffee and moral support. The Parkers brought their security footage. Even the mail carrier who'd been fined for stepping on Victoria's grass volunteered to keep watch. For the first time in years, the neighborhood wasn't scared. It was united. Monday morning, Victoria returned from her wellness retreat in Palm Springs. I was on the porch with fresh coffee and a front row seat. At 7:47 a.m., the white BMW came screaming around the corner exactly as always, until physics introduced itself. The impact was poetry. Passenger wheel met Bollard at the precise angle I'd calculated. The screech of German alloy against American concrete. The explosive pop of tire giving up. The satisfying crunch of a $92,000 SUV folding itself into modern art. Steam hissed. Hazard lights flashed like a disco of defeat. Victoria's scream could have shattered HOA meeting windows 3 streets over. She exploded out of the car in Lululemon in pure rage. You set a trap. I'm calling the police. This is attempted murder. Officer Ramirez arrived, took one look at the orange survey paint still visible, measured the 8-inch clearance, and sighed the sigh of a man who'd seen this movie before. Ma'am, this is private property. The Bollard is legally installed. You were driving on land that doesn't belong to you. Again. Victoria's face went nuclear. She dialed her husband on speaker. Derek, this peasant engineer destroyed my car. Get down here. Derek's voice came through tinny and exhausted. Victoria, I'm in the middle of an FBI interview about the survey alterations. Handle your own mess for once. Click. The silence that followed was so complete I could hear Lisa laughing softly from the kitchen window. Victoria tried one last Hail Mary. This is HOA property. I'll have the board vote to remove it. Officer Ramirez actually laughed. Ma'am, the HOA doesn't own his lawn. And after the footage I just watched on his Ring camera, I'm pretty sure the board is about to have bigger problems. Wednesday afternoon, Mrs. Delgado shuffled over with her phone, eyes sparkling. Ethan, you have to hear this. She hit play on a crystal-clear recording of Victoria pacing her driveway, screaming into her phone. I don't care what it costs. Make that concrete eyesore disappear by Friday and make it look like an accident. Gas leak, whatever. I'll handle the city paperwork. Thursday morning, a yellow excavator rumbled down the street. The operator looked nervous. Victoria marched across my lawn in designer boots, pointing like a general. Right there. Make it look like emergency utility repair. I was already on the phone with 911. I have unauthorized heavy machinery on my private property claiming to be utility work that no utility company authorized. Police arrived in under 4 minutes, 2 cruisers and a supervisor. The excavator bucket had barely kissed the Bollard when Officer Martinez stepped forward. Permits? Utility company name. Victoria's story crumbled faster than her retaining wall. The operator, facing felony charges, flipped instantly and played his own recording. Victoria offering $10,000 cash to accidentally destroy my landscaping. Her voice loud and clear. I don't care if it's illegal. I want that thing gone and the old man to pay for it. Handcuffs clicked. Charges: fraud, conspiracy to commit vandalism, impersonating utility authority, criminal trespass, attempted bribery. The operator spilled everything. Derek had supplied the fake work orders. The conspiracy stretched across 4 counties. That night the city council chamber was standing room only. 3 news crews. Victoria arrived with a $600 an hour attorney who looked like he'd never lost to a peasant engineer before. The attorney stood. My client has been the victim of a calculated harassment campaign. I stood up with the survey, the videos, the FOIA stack, and Tom's official report. The room went dead silent as the original versus corrected plats appeared on the big screen. 6 families. Half an acre stolen. Millions in fraudulent equity. When the compiled ring footage played, Victoria's daily shortcut, her midnight vandalism, the bribe audio, the crowd lost it. Someone yelled, "Lock her up!" And the chant actually started. An FBI agent stepped forward from the back row. Mrs. Langford, we've been investigating municipal corruption tied to Langford Construction. Your case just handed us the key. Derek's company altered surveys in 3 counties. We're looking at 17 municipal employees and over $2.3 million in stolen property value. Victoria's final meltdown was legendary. This is a conspiracy against successful people. You're all jealous. Security had to drag her out while the chamber erupted in applause that lasted longer than her marriage was about to. 6 months later the Bollard still stands, now surrounded by Lisa's herb garden and neighborhood kids taking selfies with the plaque that reads, Willow Creek Memorial to Community Justice Est. 2024. Victoria got 18 months federal time. Derek lost his license in the McMansion. The neighborhood formed a real homeowners association, lowercase, no tyrants allowed. That actually helps people. Lisa's health has never been better. She laughs again. The mail carrier stops for coffee. Mrs. Delgado runs the Community Legal Defense Fund with the same notebook she once used to document Victoria's reign of terror. Every morning I walk out with my coffee, look at that immovable chunk of concrete, and smile. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's 5 feet deep, reinforced with rebar and perfectly legal. So tell me in the comments, was the Bollard a trap or was it justice? Who was really in the wrong here? The homeowner who defended his property, or the HOA queen who thought the rules never applied to her? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. And if you've got your own Hoa Karen story, hit subscribe. Next time we might just tell yours.